Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make an informed decision at the ballot box. Oh, wow, we've got a lot to talk about. Breaking news within the last few hours. Another assassination attempt on Trump foiled. So that's a lot we're going to be talking about today. We'll be talking about the debate, or so-called debate, more like a tag team match, 3 against 1. And we'll talk about that, missing pets and missing park animals as well. All right, let's welcome all the way from the great state of Oklahoma. It's my good buddy Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome.
How do, everyone? How you doing, Art?
I'm doing all right. A little tired. Did some fishing today. Been out in the sun. You could probably see how red my
Yeah,
cheeks are.
yeah,
I'm not doing my Harry Sisson impersonation.
yeah.
I'm had a good day today. Finally didn't get skunked. I caught my first fish of the year, which is good.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I went out yesterday to the lake and took my four-wheel or my RC cars out there, and there's three of my son and a friend of his, and we were jumping stuff and bouncing off logs, and I finally decided, hey, I took my drones with me, so I put my Avata 2 up. I flew over water for the first time.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, I
How
didn't fly very
daring.
far out. Well, I trust the drone. I don't trust myself, but I trust the drone.
Yeah. Right.
And that was it. I didn't go very far out. I didn't venture any further than I could swim if I had to go get it.
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
So, and I wasn't out there for just few seconds and back and go back out again a little bit. But yeah, so I got some okay footage.
Good, good, good. All right, let's welcome our good friend from the state of New York. Let's welcome Charles Skoleski. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Art. Hey, Lloyd, everybody in the chat.
How you doing, Charles?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm going to put the chat on my phone because I'm on my iPad because my internet's wonky again. So
Uh-oh.
Okay.
it is what it is. So I'm
Yeah.
on my iPad, and so I'm trying to bring up the chat here.
Okay. All right. Weather here has been fantastic. Sunny with a very light breeze. I got some great pictures of the lake with the mountains in the background, and tried to get as much shade as I could. But once the fishing got hot, I was out there in the sun, so I got a bit of sun today. So,
There we go. Sorry.
all right. So, how's the weather in your neck of the woods, Charles?
Well, it's lovely. Warm.
Good.
No excessive humidity like earlier in the year. It's lovely.
Good, 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 good. And how about you, Lloyd? How's the weather out there?
Yesterday was beautiful. We did have a little wind. I did get a couple high wind warnings, but it was not. It was just a high breeze. So Avatas 2s aren't the strongest in the breeze, but it was just a nice cool breeze coming off the lake. And today it's been warmer. This morning started out beautiful, but got up close to 90 this afternoon. So it was a little warm out there when I was working on my truck trying to get it started, and so, but yeah, it's but we've definitely turned a corner towards fall, and we've had some. This last week has just been really beautiful. I went down to my cousin's on Friday, and he has a place out down towards out in the country, and we just sat out there and just he's got one of these long concrete. He's got it's on a slab, but he's got a front porch that's probably about 30 foot long, and he's got wooden rockers set up there. He got about 6 or 8 of them up there, and
Oh,
we just sat out there and bullshitted and had a good time. And
good.
and I'm going to go down and go fishing with him here,
Oh.
and then I don't know, the next 3 or 4 weeks. I may even go deer hunting with him. Hell, I don't know.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So,
alrighty, so let's get into the hot topic of the moment. There's been a second attempt on Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, where the perpetrator used an AK style weapon, probably a Dragunov, because it has scope on it. So,
well, yeah, I guess I was thinking of AR, but it's an AK. That's right.
it's AK. Yep.
Yeah, I said it was 7.62. So,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's that's definitely yeah, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
As you and I were talking before the show, I can never remember. I mean, yeah, you brought up Gerald Ford. They tried twice with him, but that was over an extended period of time and while he was president.
Right.
This man is not even elected yet, and they've tried twice with him, and they hit him once. They've tried twice within an 8-week period.
8 weeks. Yep. Wow, that's amazing. It's sad, and and the liberals are blaming him for what happened.
Well, of course they are.
They're saying, well, he should tone down his rhetoric. He should be quiet.
I listened to his speech live when he was out in California, his event out there. I didn't understand. I don't know why he should tone it down. He was so passive and calm. He made the point, but he never screamed or shouted like some of these idiots out there.
Right.
He was very straightforward, and he said what he thought, but there was nothing there to cause anybody to want to shoot him, unless it was they might have found him a bit boring at times, but or maybe a bit repetitive on a few things. But hell, all the politicians are repetitive right now. They only got so many weeks left to get all of their points across. Well, those that actually have points to make,
right?
But that has to do with the debate. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, there's no reason for them to have
blame Trump for
it. Yeah, because he's and it really comes down to who's radicalizing these people, because
radicalizing.
Because
or the rhetoric they're using, like he's a threat to democracy. He's going to end the republic. And it's like, well, how? I mean, he's been in office. He left office. He didn't try to overthrow the government, although they try to say that about January 6th, which was
even that's coming back to not be true. They're still saying, God, who was it? I heard somebody, it might have been Kamala, was speaking a week or so ago. Yeah, it was Kamala saying that there were 6 police officers killed there.
No.
January 6th. And that's been debunked. I mean, where the hell has she been?
Well, we'll talk about some of the whoppers she told a little later. Right.
But
so, yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know exactly, when it was first announced, that's when I first heard it, right shortly after it happened, when it first came out. The New York Times broke it first, and they said that there had been some shots fired in the area of the golf course, and that right after they and it was Sean Hannity was being interviewed, because he had actually been talking to the president and had actually been asked to go play golf with him. And he bowed out. The guy that did play golf with Donald Trump, that was there, he'd had breakfast with Sean, and Sean was invited to go play. Now, his words, he says, I just can't see myself. He said, I don't play golf enough that I don't want to spend all day getting killed on the golf course.
Yeah.
Those were his words, and that's what he said to the guy. Fortuitous words could never be truer. But anyways, so what had happened is that was what came out first. And he says he didn't trust the New York Times, so he checked with the reporters at the New York Post and said, yes, there were shots fired in the area. And then finally, rather quickly, they did say he did find out that they were able to surround the car. And they said they got the image from the drone footage because they did have drones in the air. They did have drones that they were using for surveillance, and they got a picture, got some footage of the person getting into a black vehicle and speeding away, a Nissan or a Toyota. So they didn't know at that point. They didn't know who'd returned fire, and this is what the president was telling us: is, I'm safe. They got me out. It says first couple of shots, you just heard the first shot or so, and it says here come all the Secret Service tackling him and throwing him to the ground again, and they got him out of there. They have a special golf cart that apparently is bulletproof, and they threw him in it and sped off with him, and it goes a lot faster than the average golf cart.
Right, kind of like the Pope Mobile, I guess.
Yeah, very much. Well, more enclosed than that, though. I think even it was. It's apparently got armor plating in it, but it was hauling ass and getting him out there, and then they threw him into the SUV and got him back to Mar-a-Lago, which I've heard is completely surrounded by state and federal police. They've got a really big presence. They have had quite a presence since the Pennsylvania shooting, but now today, and this is from Sean Hannity. He said he drove by there and he says, "Oh my God," he says, "there was hundreds of," he says, "and they've got people everywhere now surrounding it."
Right.
But at that point, they just thought all they heard about was a shooting. But then there was a person that was outside of the fence, and it was about, I think it was the hole ahead in front of where Trump was going to be going next. And he saw somebody running out of the bushes and jump in a vehicle and drive off, and had heard the shots. So he took his phone, he snapped a picture of the guy, of the vehicle, and of the tag, and sent it right to the police department or the sheriff's department. And the sheriffs were able to surround the vehicle and find the guy instantly. And they flew the guy, or they brought the guy up from that had sent in the photo. They brought him up, and he made a positive identification. Yeah, that's the guy I saw. At the same time as that, they said initially, they said, well, they found an AK, or they found an AK style rifle. Still thinking it at that point, at the first news part I heard, they were still thinking. They said, well, maybe it was gang activity. Well, we know what that property's like down. Yeah, they got a lot of gang problems. The only thing, maybe over whose cotillion was better or some shit like that.
Right.
But it's so. Anyways, but and the gal that was interviewing Sean is she's a little bit too far. She's in the center, but she just like leaning just a little left. Yeah.
Right.
But, and so she was trying to, well, we don't know, and blah, blah, blah. Let's not make a big deal. Well, then the sheriff's department came out. He had a GoPro camera mounted in the fence. He had his AK-47 with the scope, and he had protective armor with ceramic plates in it. So, he was,
and that's a photo of
yeah, there you can see the little GoPro right there. And he's got some, and there's the rifle. Yeah, this was released by the police, and so now it has since been turned into a not just gang activity, but an actual attempt. What had happened is the agent in front, a Secret Service agent that goes to the next hole to clear the area, and or as the agents, I'm sure there were more than one, as they went there, they saw the barrel sticking out, and they immediately started shooting. They didn't wait for clearance. They just
Right.
pop, and it's between 4 to 6 shots. So,
yeah.
oh, Kathy
So-
Griffin claims that Trump is going to come after comedians in his second term. Yeah, and Ronnie said that. He says, well, at least she's safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't have anything to worry about. She's not funny.
Yeah.
They have to be comedians. She's
right, and that's what he
hasn't
was
been a
saying. Yeah,
comedian.
she's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only person that died on January 6th was a disarmed American veteran.
Yeah,
And
that
death
would
was
be
uncalled for.
Bobbitt.
Bobbitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, was her name that is? Yeah, not to be confused with the Bobbitt that Bob.
Yeah,
was.
is it Bob? No, Babbitt. I think
Babbitt.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, Babbitt.
The other one is
Yeah.
Bobbitt. Bobbitt did the bobbing, but
Yes.
Babbitt got.
is the former governor of Arizona.
No,
Yeah.
I was referring to Bobbitt. Remember Bobbitt?
Yeah, I know
Lorena
Bobbitt.
Bobbitt.
Her last name is Babbitt.
Okay, Babbitt. All right.
Yeah. And I was referring to the Babbitt that was governor of Arizona.
Oh, okay. All right.
And his
Damn many
brother
names
wasn't
sound alike,
his
yeah.
brother a senator or congressman? Yeah. Paul
Yeah.
Babbitt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
And it turns out I'm distantly related to them. Yeah.
Well, Lottie freaking da.
Yep.
I'm related to Richard.
Oh,
Nixon.
Ashley
Yes.
Babbitt. That's who it is.
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's say hello to the folks in the chat. We've got Grant, Mr. S, Ronnie, God bless America, Steve Carpenter, SC Ariels,
Hey, big brother.
and Charles Gillespie. We got Brian, Waypoint, New England, Steve Knowles, and we got Paul Wedgenbig. He's here just for a short period.
He just did his second anniversary show just a little bit ago.
Wow.
Oh, okay. And we got Joe, Captain Joe Merca, USA Drone Flyer.
Hey, Joe.
That's about
And we got
it.
Ronnie. Did you say Ronnie? God bless America. He's in
Yes,
there too.
Ronnie, God bless America. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. So, yeah. So yeah, it really comes down to the rhetoric of people saying all this stuff about Donald Trump. And Donald Trump did mention that in the debate,
He did. He brought it up. And the only reason they're raising hell and trying to make it his fault is because they know it's their fault. And they also know with what it did for him on the last attempt, they're worried that their little
their polls might drop.
Yeah, well, their little queen may not make it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, you've always heard the story about, well, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you do it? And people are starting to think the same thing about Donald Trump with all the crap.
Unfortunately, and to me, this is all too coincidental. I mean, okay, I'm not going to reach out there and say it's a conspiracy, but when we've got, first off, how did they know he was going to be playing there? How did he have the foresight to be able to set up this stuff?
Well, he usually plays there on Sundays.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. So it's not.
But see, I didn't know that. I wouldn't know when the hell he played.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But
so it's somebody who's aware of his schedule, at minimal, it just is a little too. And the other thing is it is a 60-year-old white male.
6-year-old, and I'm looking at this article here. It doesn't mention what his age is.
The sheriff mentioned it in the in his press conference. He gave a very good press conference.
Uh,
There was nothing left out. He says,
uh,
and he said, I'm going to give you all the information we absolutely can. Let's get to straight right now. He says, then I will take questions. He says, and you better be thinking of what questions you want to ask. So
uh-huh.
he's holding the press to start making intelligence. Yeah, they couldn't shoot Hitler because he confiscated the guns. Exactly.
Right. And who was the shooter? What's his name?
The shooter of who? Oh, I don't know. Is the guy we're talking about? I don't know that. They haven't given his name.
Ryan Rout.
Okay, they just released it because they hadn't when I
Well,
checked
I
it.
heard about it on Megyn Kelly, which I've been watching before
okay.
the show. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I picked up. I watched the news conference, which was a replay of it, and they hadn't really, or I didn't go far enough into the conference to hear his name.
Okay.
At that point, I didn't have his name. So what was his name again?
Ryan Rout. Routh.
Ryan Ralph. Okay.
Yeah. Rout or Root.
Ruth. Yeah. Roth.
Rot.
R-U-T. Yeah.
Routh. Yeah.
Well, okay, we've said his name now. Now he's unimportant. He'll just be known as the shooter or the attempted shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you give these guys any press time, and especially, other people are going to, copycats are going to come out,
Right.
But
look at what happened to Thomas Cook. It didn't turn out too well for him.
No, it didn't.
Oh, and here's something else I found out. He got off 8 shots before he was killed. How the fuck did that happen?
I hadn't heard 8 shots. I hadn't heard any of that. So
yeah, I was doing some research on it. Yeah, he got off 8 rounds.
Yeah, I think I heard between 6. I think I did hear 6. And from what I'm understanding, just another thing is, it wasn't the rooftop sniper up there that killed him. It was one of the police officers in the area.
Right.
But they first came out and said it was the guy. It was the anti-sniper that killed him, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
And there's so much about that. And from one of the guys came out, and because Mrs. Trump has been asking, what in the hell's going on here? And this was, my husband was almost killed. What is going on with the Secret Service?
Right.
And this was before today. She was asking this, and they're really said that when one of the congressmen has said, when this is all released, the people of the United States are going to be sickened by how bad this really was.
Right. Right.
And I heard that interview with him Friday when I was coming back from down in Orem, where my cousin lived. It's about 30 miles from here.
Mm-hmm.
Or 30-minute drive, I guess I should say. But yeah, and this is just too damn coincidental, Yep. And the fact he was gonna film it on a GoPro,
Right.
The people
Right.
as my cousin,
I'm going to be like Zapruder. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as my cousin said, the people over in Iran would be dancing for joy.
Well, not everybody. It's
over in
the
Iran?
government of Iran would. The people, the civilians in Iran hate their government. They can't do anything about it because they're powerless. Yeah, they don't. Right. Yeah, so they're.
Yeah, well, having some experience with that area, they're the ones who, they're of the age. They were the ones who threw out the legitimate government and brought in the Ayatollah. So they got what they paid for. It's the young people.
Yeah, they were the young people that did that. Now they're the middle.
Now they're the old people, and it's their grandchildren and their children that are pissed off about the government. But you know, as far as the older citizens, well, hey, you guys brought it on yourself.
Right.
That's my personal opinion on that, you know. But
Right.
anyway, I digress.
So, yeah, so they're going to blame Trump for all of this. And, well, now we could talk about the debate and how Trump talked about he nearly took a bullet to the head because of the things they were saying, which, you know, he was factual about that. And then there were other things. He got fact checked, and it turned out a lot of it was true. But Kamala, you know, they never fact checked her. And it also turns out that the female moderator is a sorority sister of Harris.
Yeah.
Yep.
The fix was in, you know.
And I guess is it the president of ABC, or is it the head of the news division? It's a personal friend of Kamala's.
Yeah. I read that, and I can't tell you which one. One of the people in the chat will probably be able to tell us, like Ronnie or Joe,
Right.
or even Steve, especially Steve. He'd probably know it too.
Right.
I can't remember because, to be honest with you, I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I watched about
going to
5-10 minutes of it, and I'm like, going, this is bullshit. I'm going to bed.
I knew what it was going to be like, and I started getting in. You know, I got a couple different feeds that, you know, or it's like almost like a ticker tape.
Yeah, Dana Walden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the same husband that knocked up the nanny? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was with another wife. He was married before he married Kamala. He was married to somebody else, and he cheated on that wife.
Oh.
And knocked up the nanny with, you know, because they don't have any. Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay Davis is Kamala's. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And Mel, welcome, Mel. He watched the whole debate. Good for you.
Good for you, Mel.
Yeah, you got some strong fortitude to watch that. And plus, you know, I had to, you know, get up early to go to work the next day, so I couldn't really.
I didn't. I just didn't want to go to sleep that early, and if I'd watched it, I'd have fallen asleep.
Or have nightmares of it, you know.
Yeah, it was. But I've gone back through, and every time I see something that is portrayed wrong, well, then I will look at it and say, okay, now let me go back and watch the replay, because there's enough of it up there you can catch it all.
Right. And she also talked about how there are no troops deployed in war zones. That should have been a big fact check right there.
Yeah, because we still have people.
They got fact. Haven't you seen the video? There's a video where it shows her making that claim. Somebody's obviously taping a television set, and then the camera pans over to a bunch of soldiers in a tent, and they're like, well, where the bleep are we now?
Yeah, I saw that video. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know, we're still fighting ISIS. We still got people in Libya. We got not
Iraq.
Well, Syria. They're in Iraq, and they're going back and forth from Iraq. But yeah, we've never left Iraq. We got
naval deployment in the Red Sea.
Yeah, and how many of those didn't we just have some rocket attacks or missile attacks from?
Yeah, I just heard that word.
It's just, well, we've had 3 or 4 different. Yeah, the Houthis, and no, they've been getting hit by ISIS forces in Libya too.
Oh wow, did not know that.
Yeah, or proxies of Iran. They hit one of our military bases in. It's been a while, but it's been probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months was the last time one of our bases got hit. But we tend to answer in response, and drop a missile on them. So,
Right.
Right. I think, I hate to say it, but we should have supported Muammar Gaddafi back then.
Yeah.
Because we had him under control. Once we dropped that once Reagan got tired of messing with Gaddafi and, dropped a bunch of bombs on his tents, he kind of calmed down,
Yep.
And they were actually just getting ready to be removed from the terrorist watch list.
Yeah, it was Obama that helped get him killed. Yep.
It was Obama that.
Hey, let's destabilize our region some more. Yeah, let's do that.
Arab Spring, and he was right there.
Arab Spring,
not like
drawing
Irish that line. Spring. He kept drawing that line in the sand, and they'd cross it, and he'd back up a little more and draw it some more. It's like, and this is the crap we're putting up with now.
And Trump talked about the illegals in Springfield, Ohio, and the Venezuelan gang in Aurora, Colorado.
Yep.
And they poo-pooed that. And
they were talking about they're eating cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs, yep.
And but I know the mayor who came out and was on. I heard a good interview with him on Fox News. Says, we're needing help here. We're needing it desperately.
Yeah.
It is bad.
Yeah, well, the town is 60,000 people, and then 25,000 people show up. Yeah, they overwhelm the welfare system there. Yeah, people camping out on people's lawns. People are saying, "Screw this, we gotta move out of here."
And I know because we've talked about Judy had a physical therapist that was Filipino. And he was telling us, I don't know why, because we had dogs, and he said he liked dogs. He says he had a dog as a kid, and he came home from school one night, and his dog would run off, and so it's sort of a stray dog that hung around the house, and it was his pet. And then for supper that night, they had some sort of fried meat, and he said, has anybody seen my dog? And he says, what do you think's for supper?
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Well, he had to, that kind of upset Judy. And I said, we don't need to be hearing that, especially when we're dog lovers. And he's talking about it. Said he hadn't had any dogs since he's been an adult, but as a kid, he ate dog. And he wasn't that old. He was in his 40s. So it hasn't been that many years ago.
Right.
So they still, if you're desperate enough, you'll eat anything,
Yep.
And
also, park animals are disappearing. Ducks and geese and squirrels disappearing.
Yeah, squirrels, okay. I can see that.
Yeah, squirrel. I hear squirrels are quite tasty.
They're okay. A little greasy, but they're not bad.
Now, geese, especially the ones if you get it at a park, I mean, it's going to taste like fish. It's going to have a real bad, fishy taste to it.
I don't like goose anyways. It's really too greasy for me. And but yeah, I could understand, geese and squirrel and even bunny rabbits,
Yeah, bunny rabbits, bunny rabbits, jackrabbits, they're pretty good. It kind of tastes like.
Ronnie said they shut down a local restaurant. Oh, where he was at. A local restaurant. It was a Korean. It was run by Koreans. Yeah. We had one shut down here that was Chinese, and they were serving cats.
Oh,
because they couldn't afford the chicken, so they were making their chicken teriyaki out of like, what was that one song? There's a cat in the kettle at the Peking Moon.
Oh yeah, Cats in the Kettle at the Peking Moon.
Yeah, it's based off of Cats in the Cradle. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't remember the words of Cats in the Cradle, but I can sing Cats in the Kettle by the Peking Moon.
Yeah.
I thought that was far better song.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure. Anyways.
So what were some of the other things that Trump said that they said fact checked.
I can't remember because they seem to keep doing it,
Mm-hmm.
And but I think every one of them they've had to come back. Oh, he was talking about the crime rate.
Right.
That they said it's actually coming down.
Oh yeah, that's right. They said, the FBI statistic says crime is down. And he wasn't talking about, he was being more specific to more, those two areas,
Well, and of course what he said in answer to that was that, well, they weren't taking the input from the large cities. Now, that part has been fact checked, and so far, Fox News has not been able to substantiate that claim. But the newest one that just came out is showing that it's back on the rise.
Right.
And as Trump said, and I heard him say this was in his speech in California, in which he said, I guess somebody at the FBI wanted to support me because they released it last night. In which it shows the crime rate is going up.
Yep.
Because it includes all of the cities that he said hadn't been included. New York and Los Angeles and
Washington, D.C.?
Well, not D.C., over there in Oregon, Seattle.
Seattle. Oh, yeah, he mentioned Seattle, too. And she tried to debunk that, and that turned out to be a load of crap because there was a large section of the city. He wasn't talking about like the whole city. He was talking about that section where BLM took over.
Yes, Andrew, we did see that. We actually talked about that for the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes of the show. So, yes, but thank you for letting us know. But yes, it was a second assassination attempt on him.
Right.
And but yeah, there was everything that she, and they've come out and said, well, we were sort of on Kamala's side. We were sort of told that we needed to support her.
Right.
So who the hell told them, and why?
Right.
Why? And have you heard? Speaking of that, this is the takeoff from after the post debate things. She had another solo sit down interview. Oh yeah, she had one because they said a lot of people are saying she never gave any substance, so we don't know what she stands for.
Yeah, she's very good deflecting.
Well, and it's like she's that whole thing was so choreographed. Yeah. Well, I knew as soon as I said, I knew it wasn't right. Anyway, it was so choreographed that she just had to learn her part, and that's all. That's why she spent a week locked away, was so she could memorize her answers. Because I'm understanding from what one person has said that she had the questions, which is what it sounded like. But yeah, she did a sit down interview by herself with somebody from ABC News, but it was a local ABC. And this person had the audacity to ask her exactly what her plan, her actual plan, what was she going to do to help improve the economy. And she went off and says, well, I was raised in a middle-class family. My mother raised me and my sister by herself. And it wasn't until I was a teenager before she could afford to get a house. And, and those people that lived in that neighborhood, they were proud, working middle-class people. They were, some of them were nurses. Some of them were janitors, and he says, and they were all very proud of their lawn. And, and we look to our past for that. And that's what we're going to look to, is in our past. And they all had good lawns.
Oh, they had good lawns. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's all. That's how we're going to fix the nation.
Yeah,
with
that
good
was her
laws.
friggin' answer. That was about, and what I just said was probably about as close as what she said.
Yeah.
And
Which is
about
exactly the same answer she gave at the debate.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You know, and we know that this is the way it works. They repeat, you know, they got bullet points that they're trying to, but with Trump's bullet points, we understand what he's meaning. You know, with her, we're like, huh?
Yep.
It's just like, yeah. So that interview, and it's just coming back. That's why the reason she gave the interview is because she didn't get a bounce after the debate.
It turned out it wasn't as it was kind of the opposite, because
she started
there
losing.
were a lot of undecided, so they're like scratching their heads saying, what, that we didn't get anything out of that debate. And in fact, it pushed them more towards Trump, because they are confident that Trump will handle the economy much better than she would.
Yeah. Ronnie just brought up something. Isn't it amazing how quickly the first assassination attempt and all the stories related to it got swept under the rug? That reminded me of another thing. How soon after the debate against Biden was the first assassination attempt? The following weekend.
Oh, okay.
And how long's it been since this debate?
Oh, yes, the following weekend.
Not that I'm saying there's a conspiracy, but if you look at the timeline, it's certainly, you know,
right.
And here we thought Hillary was bad. Looks like Kamala's even worse.
Yep.
You know.
So they don't have to do anything. They just say shit, and some knucklehead out there will act on it. That's what they're doing. Yep.
I just meant when I read what he said there, and I hadn't read it all, but then it clicked in. Wait a minute, how long's it been? It was the following weekend. I think it was the first Sunday after the debate. It was a Saturday.
We're
alert spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sad. Like Andrew put up 101 flip flops.
Yep.
But yet she says her values haven't changed. Like, everything that she talks about. And of course, Bernie Sanders in his little interview did not help her.
Right.
Where he says she's just trying to get elected.
Yeah, she's being pragmatic. She's got to tack to the center and pretend.
Which is sort of what you and I talked about here a while back about, we don't want to lower our standards so bad just to get elected. We've got to keep some values. And I think that's why Donald Trump is the way he is, because he really is a conversationalist. I heard this applied to him the other day.
Right.
He will talk with people. He makes it a point, like they showed a kid that was sick and was a fan of Trump's, and he took the time out and wrote him a letter and, signed it and everything. And they were just, this really cheered this kid up. But he does stuff like that. He's okay. So he's got millions of dollars, but he's an everyday person. There's a lot of guys that aren't very well off that go out on Sunday afternoons and play golf, or watch a football game, but or he does stuff like we do, he just does it in nicer clothes.
That's right.
And a more comfortable couch.
Oh, and Kamala claimed that Donald Trump didn't do anything to help those people that got shot when he was shot, which is a bunch of baloney, because he's the one that helped out that fireman that got killed. He helped raise $1 million for that family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he did a lot to help with their, their medical cost, and he did a lot to promote that, to get them, he helped whatever he could to endorse, with whatever they needed, and
Right. And how
yeah,
about when he has a rally and somebody faints? I mean,
yeah,
he'll stop the rally and
he
he'll get people over there to help that
he
person.
stepped out. He actually stepped out from behind his that was a week or two after, and he stepped out from behind his bulletproof glass to make sure they were okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, Brad, good to see you.
I wonder
By the
how
way,
much Kamala gave in support of that.
luckily I didn't get hit with that. I gave away a knife last night.
Yeah, that's why you don't hold it upside down, Art.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on. Let me see if I can pick
We
it
would
up.
have instantly heard Art talking a lot higher,
Yeah.
a lot higher voice.
Well, it was going more
He would
towards
have
my
sounded like
leg
Bucky for
than-
sure.
Yeah. If I could pick it up with my feet. Oh, let's. Alrighty.
Well, it'll be there after the show.
Yeah. Trying not to.
I actually saw the giveaway part.
Oh, okay.
I went back and watched it. Just
Good.
make. By the way, that I like that saw that I got, and the chocolate. The chocolate was very good.
Good.
Unfortunately, it's all gone now.
Yeah. My sister.
I ate the last piece last night, though. I will say that.
Are you the kind of person that will have a little bit and put some away, or do you scarf it down all at once?
Oh no. I there are 3 of those things in there.
Yeah.
I try not to have more than one of those a day.
Right.
But the devil got me. He was sitting on my shoulder saying, "Go ahead, you can have some more." So I had it lasted me 3 nights because I had 2. I had 2 a day. And I just like, oh my God, it just hit, and it wasn't all melted, so it wasn't as big.
Good.
Of course, I throw it in the ice box instantly anyway. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
It got a little warm, but nothing.
Right.
It hadn't deformed or anything. So
Good.
But yeah, it's all gone. I ate it all.
Oh, that's good. My sister, I will give her the 8-ounce box of it for Christmas.
Right.
And she'll just have one, and she'll put it away, and she'll make it last for a couple months. Yeah.
My mother used to buy a pound box.
Wow.
Or a 2-pound box. I think it was a 2-pound box. And we just put it in the freezer and go in there and get some out, and that would last us damn near to, I can make, sometimes it'd last me all the way into April.
Wow.
But yeah. So she, one year she bought a box for my kids. Well, they just weren't eating it. It wasn't their favorite. So they ended up giving it to me, and I had that shit damn near a whole year.
Well, Lon Denard got one of those tubs that has the individual wrapped ones, and I guess it lasted for months for him.
Yeah, he was talking about that here a while.
On
Uncle Bill's last week. Or it might have been on your show. 'Cause I was on your show last week, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been. So Kamala's making a big to-do about Trump has a concept of a plan. And then you hear her cackle. Concept of a plan.
They've gone back, and they've had people that deal with expressions and with all of that stuff, people that study body language. And she tried to act like she was confident, but they said you could see that she was scared that she was going to screw up,
Right.
And now, her numbers have actually started going, like you said, a lot of the undecided are now decided.
Yep.
because what she said, most of it made no sense.
Right.
You know, and that's sad when you're, you got all of your people on the panel, and you still can't come up with a decent answer.
Right. My favorite part was when she was trying to interrupt Trump while he was talking. He goes, "Excuse me, I'm talking." Does that sound familiar to you? Oh,
Greg called me right
yeah.
after it happened, and I didn't have it on.
Oh.
Greg, he did a FaceTime with me right after, and he was in tears laughing. He was, oh my God, he says, I thought it was rather boring until he said that, and he says, he says even my folks were busting out laughing. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm talking. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the reason she wanted the mics left hot, so that she could interrupt him.
Right.
So he could interrupt her, and then he just flipped it on her.
Right.
That was hilarious.
I think he was prepared for that.
Oh yeah, because he knew that's what, that they'd been talking about it for 3 weeks leading up to this. That's what they want, and he wants the mics muted, which that, and you think about it, that does take that shows his commitment to having fairness, in which one didn't talk over the other,
right?
Including himself, because she's the one who wanted the open mic so that she could, accuse him of talking over her. And I couldn't finish my answer because he kept interrupting. She didn't have that excuse.
That's right. That's right.
I think personally, I would have fired all of those people that she spent the last 2 weeks or the last week secluded in a camping out somewhere.
Camp David.
Camp David. Okay. Why the hell was she at Camp David? That's not for the vice president. She should have got her own damn place.
Well, she's sort of the president right now, because who knows where Biden is? I don't even know who the hell is running the country right now.
A lot of people are saying he's really angry with Kamala.
Yeah.
So him putting on the mega hat.
Snub yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And he got on the plane with that hat. The guy just wanted him to put it on. It was his. And he took it. He kept it. And they show him getting on Air Force One holding his mega hat in his hand. Doesn't have his hat on, but he's got his mega hat.
Here's another thing that Donald Trump brought up. I don't think it was in the debate. He talked about no taxes for overtime.
Yes. Yeah, he didn't bring that up in the debate. It came up afterwards because he was talking about his, but yeah. Running the country, the system we are voting against. Yeah, exactly. Biden is on the beach. Yeah. Well, now they went somewhere. They were together yesterday, I think. They did a rally or some sort, but I just thought it was hilarious where he put that hat on. And that, I think, was really to just, to you, Kamala.
And another thing that Kamala brought up, which was another whopper, was trying to link the 2025 project to Trump.
Yeah.
And that's been debunked,
Yeah, and he says, I don't even know what's in it. I don't know where that, how that ever got started.
Yeah.
I guess Wedgenbig is getting ready to do his show now. Okay. It's his 2nd anniversary show. So.
Oh, okay.
Of the United States Drone Society. So.
I'll pop in for a little while and say hi before I get cleaned up and go to bed and find out how badly I got burned today. Probably the back of my neck is probably pretty red.
Yeah, I think mine's a little, because I was out there under the sun too.
Yeah.
For the most part, I stayed up under the canopy and there was a nice breeze, but then they decided to go down closer to the shore, and they said, "You want to drive down?" I said, "No, I can walk down there," because from where I was at, it didn't look that far, but damn. I was tired. I ended up sitting down because, well, the first time I flew the drone, I was actually standing up. I'm used to sort of leaning back against my car. So I've got my goggles on and I'm flying in, you know, doing this, and I'm standing up and there's nothing behind me, just, you know, rocks and sand. Is like, oh. And so the next time, and I didn't charge my batteries, so I only had 2/3 batteries because,
Right.
you know, I charged them a couple of weeks ago and never used it. So I thought, well, and I didn't do it. So I got about a battery and a half worth out of that,
Uh-huh.
you know, and but yeah, so I got some sun too. I can tell it because the back of my neck is just a little sore. But
I brought my GoPro and I find out, oh shit, no SD card in it. And I'm like, yeah, I know where it is. It's still plugged into the adapter right here on my laptop. I'm like, shit. But what I'll do is I'll take all the photos and I'll do a narration and I'll stitch them together and make a short video out of that.
Yeah. So, oh,
but
and
it
if
was
Mel,
a beautiful day.
I'm gonna call Mel after the show. I just wonder if he was still watching.
Okay. All right.
I got a bone to pick with him.
Well, we have come to 1 hour. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. You all have a great week. Don't forget Lloyd's show tomorrow night, the Grumpy Vlogger, where I'll be. Charles and I will be there with Dominic and maybe somebody else might pop in.
You never know. You never know who's going to pop in. So.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.